Hello, everybody, and welcome back to All Around Sports. I'm your host, Jay Jacinto. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Robbie Anderson being traded from the Carolina Panthers to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the star receiver has been traded to the Arizona Cardinals a day after he was kicked out of the game by a new head coach, Steve Wilks. He was kicked out of the game due to him getting in a verbal confrontation with receiver coach Joe Daly. After the game, Steve Wilks commented after the game, saying no one is bigger than the team, and it was really clear that the Panthers and Anderson could not get along, so it is no surprise that Anderson gets traded here. I mean, of course he's going to get traded if the head coach and the player don't get along, especially if the player just doesn't want to be there, and it seems like Robbie Anderson doesn't want to be in Carolina anymore. So far this season, Anderson has 13 receptions for 206 yards and a touchdown. This is Robbie Anderson's third year in Carolina, and it was looking to be his worst season by far with his very, very slow start. Anderson started his career with the New York Jets, where he quickly burst onto the scene as a receiver who looked really good. I mean, he burst onto the scene in 2016 when he had 42 receptions for 587 yards and 2 touchdowns. Robbie Anderson actually had his first 1,000-yard season in 2020 in his first season with the Carolina Panthers, where he had 1,096 yards. I mean, he looked really good in that 2020 season, and I've always been a huge fan of Robbie Anderson. I mean, almost every year of his career after his rookie season, I picked him in my fantasy team because he's just been that consistent of a receiver. But in these last 2 years, he's had a little bit of injury problems, but at the same time, he just hasn't meshed well with the team, and he hasn't looked like he's a big role anymore on the team. But since then, he has not been able to replicate that form he found in 2020. I mean, he hasn't had another 1,000-yard season since then, or has come even close. But now we're looking at the Cardinals. The Cardinals are off to a very slow start after falling to 2-4 on the season with a loss to the Geno Smith-led Seahawks, who have looked amazing. I mean, Geno Smith, that's a whole different topic about how good the Seahawks have looked this year. But a huge bright spot for them to look forward to next week, or something just to make them feel happy, is that DeAndre Hopkins is coming back next week. Well, he's scheduled to after his 6-week suspension after he was caught taking PEDs. But also a huge loss for the Cardinals is a huge receiver for them this year. Marquise Hollywood Brown is looking to be out for a couple weeks after it appeared that he suffered a foot injury, and it could keep the receiver out for quite a while. The Cardinals will also pay Anderson $575,000 for the rest of the season to play for them on salary, but the Panthers will take a huge $20 million dead cap hit that spreads from this season also in next season. The Panthers are also receiving a 6th-round pick in 2024 and a 7th-round pick in 2025. Overall, this is an amazing trade for the Cardinals, who this could really be a huge push for them now. I mean, think about it. You still got Zach Ertz. Yes, you lose Marquise Brown for a couple weeks, possibly, but you just replace him with Robbie Anderson, who's another great receiver. And then you also have DeAndre Hopkins coming back next week, who is a top 2 receiver in the league when he's playing and healthy. Still got Zach Ertz, Eno Benjamin. Still got Kyler Murray, who's a very solid quarterback. I know he's taken a lot of criticism this year, but he's still really good. And whenever Marquise Brown gets healthy, you're going to have 3 deadly receivers with a good tight end and an above-average running game with a very good quarterback also, an easy top half of the league quarterback. And this Arizona Cardinals offense will be really, really good whenever Marquise Brown comes back. I think it's a huge pickup for them. And they only had to give up a 6th-round pick next year and then a 7th-round pick the year after that. I mean, it's such a minor inconvenience to give up those 2 draft picks. The day 3 picks, I mean, a 7th-round pick, you'll be lucky to get a backup out of that pick. And then a 6th-round pick, you might be able to get a backup with that one. But overall, Cardinals easy winners in this trade, but you can't be mad at Carolina for making this trade, because when you have a player that just doesn't want to be there and they're getting into arguments with the coaching staff and it's becoming toxic, and you don't want that to spread to the locker room. So it's not very surprising to see Robbie Anderson get traded here. It is a bit unfortunate. I really do like Robbie Anderson, but I think he'll be amazing for the Arizona Cardinals. Overall, easy winners are the Arizona Cardinals in this trade, and I think it could potentially lift them and make them really start to contend again for the playoffs after their very slow start. But without further ado, I'm All Around Sports. I'm your host, Jay Jacinto, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.